Hello world, Justin Tucker again. In the last video, we went over creating a new product display of type registration or registration product display. And that kind of deviated there at the end. I'm kind of going on a tangent here as exploring a potential way to handle early bird membership registration versus late. So I'm going to kind of continue on with this idea. So here's the early bird membership registration. And in theory, what we've got going on here is we have member and non-member early bird registration and member and non-member early bird student registration. And each of these have a different corresponding price, and each of these has to have these fields filled out per product that you're going to add to the cart because they're required. So again, going back to our conference, if I want to add a late member registration, I'm going to fill this out again. And we're going to get the same idea. And so I'm going to kind of repeat this, a late member registration. And okay, so I got to make up stuff here. So it's got to be more. So 2018 late non-member. If this doesn't look fun, it's not. And we'll say, what, that's maybe 600. Probably should have pre-baked this. Sorry. Again, I'm just going to make stuff up here. Late non-member student. So effectively the point here is the different variations I had for early I'm matching for the variations of late. Now what this isn't aware of, and that I'm going to kind of go on a limb and do here, is you wouldn't present both of these to the user because if it's late registration and the early bird is still available, they're going to choose that because it's a cheaper price. So we need some mechanism that we can use to say, hey, if this is past a certain date, namely the late registration date, then show or don't show. So not exactly sure how I'm going to do that right now, but I know that in order to have a chance to do it, I'm going to need to have some date field on the product display, registration product display. And might as well do that because we already have a field called late registration date that's on the convention form, or registration event form, the more generic term. And so we'll kind of do this for right now. So again, just adding this because I think it will be needed to help make the distinction of, okay, should this show or should this not show? And then of course if there's not a convenient link to it, it becomes more difficult to purchase, and that is again is another way to approach how to add registration products to your conference. So in this scenario we have a bucket for early bird, and inside there are 4 things. All right. We could just have one bucket called member or just registration, and inside is everything, right? That really wouldn't help too much with the idea of late versus early. So again, just kind of thinking of different ways you could do it. This is another way, and yeah, late registration is going to be another method to have a collection of products that only deal with after a certain date and all have higher rates. But inside of here is that field, late registration date. And like I said, this should provide us the mechanism to say, well, what did I say here? I think I said the late registration date was going to be March 15th. So maybe if we put March 15th in here, same time or some similar time, again, this should be a field that we can use rules and other filters to be aware of what today's date is and what this date is and whether to show this stuff or not. So again, don't have this fully mapped out in my head, but I know we'll need a date field of some type somewhere. And again, if we're going to be going with this model of adding a collection of products that deal with 2018 late registrations, then adding the field to the product display, the bucket or the container of these products, to me makes sense. Again, we'll pull that off later, but that's what we've got going here. So I'll go ahead and save that. And again, there's that field display. So we haven't, made any more display considerations, but this video should have demonstrated further that we've added 2 registration product displays, and in this particular case called it early and late, and have a collection of products in each for potentially various different users. This is also where you can have different packages, obviously. So instead of these being for members or students, maybe this can be the deluxe package, this can be the standard package, this can be the minimal package, something to that effect. Basically, the common denominator is it is a different selection that yields a different price, which obviously different packages would do. So I'll go ahead and conclude this video with that. Again, we're kind of looking at this right now as our view showing all pages that we make from these links that belong to this convention. So again, if you guys like these videos, please subscribe, reach out with questions, comments, or thoughts or feedback, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks.